China floods once again turned Yunnan province into the epicenter of the year's most devastating natural disasters. From July 17 to 20, torrential rains submerged many counties, turning mountain streams into raging torrents that swept away everything. In Jiang, Wenshan, Kuing, and Pu'er, houses, bridges, and fields were submerged in water and vehicles floated like toys. More than 1,000 residents were forced to evacuate. Many families lost all their property, and farmers saw their crops and livestock wiped out in just a few hours. Infrastructure was damaged, power was cut off, and transportation was cut off, leaving behind a scene of devastation like after a war. China floods in Yunnan was not only a disaster but also a testament to the terrible power of natural disasters in times of extreme climate. For several days, heavy rains have been pouring down Yunnan, exceeding the record for many years. Rivers of water rushed down from the mountain slopes, carrying mud and rocks, turning the valley into a sea of water. This is the direct cause of the devastating China floods this time. Large rivers and small streams in Yunnan simultaneously overflowed their banks, turning into raging floods that swept away riverside villages. In many places, the water rose in a matter of hours, submerging village roads and fields. This China floods shows the terrible power of natural disasters when the usually gentle rivers suddenly turned into a source of destruction, destroying everything in their path and leaving behind a scene of desolation and grief.
这一哈哈都哈3个来吗？6个。
哎，都掉下来了！哎呀，要！
Towns like Jiang, Wenshan, and Pu'er disappeared under the huge sea of water. Houses were left with only roof tiles, streets and squares turned into deep lakes. People climbed on rooftops to call for help, their eyes desperate in the raging flood. China floods have turned once bustling places into desolate lands, clearly proving that natural disasters not only destroy infrastructure but also take away the memories and peaceful lives of thousands of families. On the flooded roads, cars, buses, and even farm machinery were swept away by the raging waters like inanimate objects. Many vehicles piled on top of each other crashed violently and sank in chaos. This scene became a poignant symbol of the China floods, where natural disasters exposed the fragility of humans in the face of nature, when the assets accumulated over a lifetime suddenly disappeared in the flood. Once bustling markets in Yunnan are now a vast sea of water. Vegetable stalls, meat stalls, and small shops have been washed away, leaving only twisted iron frames protruding from the floodwaters. People have lost their livelihoods and watched as the markets sank into chaos. The China floods show that when natural disasters strike not only homes but also the commercial centers that sustain communities can disappear in an instant. Yunnan's main roads were severely eroded. Many bridges collapsed or disappeared under the floodwaters. The power grid was damaged, many transformer stations stopped working, plunging the whole area into darkness. The drainage and transportation systems were completely paralyzed. The China floods this time proved that natural disasters not only destroy the fields, but also collapse essential infrastructure, making rescue and recovery extremely difficult. You should be careful during the rainy season when you encounter landslides and fallen trees because it can affect your life.
看这个车已经去到河里来了，是啊。
In Kuing and many other cities, the streets turned into rivers, the water rose up to the chest, causing vehicles to float, causing chaotic collisions. Public transportation was suspended, buses and trains stopped running. Thousands of people were stranded, unable to move. This time, China floods showed that natural disasters can paralyze a modern transportation system, turning a bustling metropolis into an isolated land in just a few hours. Thousands of acres of rice, corn, and vegetables in Yunnan and Funing were submerged in murky waters. Greenhouses, barns, and livestock were swept away in a matter of hours. Farmers wept helplessly as they watched years of hard work go down the drain. China floods in Yunnan turned hopes of a harvest into ruins, showing that natural disasters not only destroy land, but also rob thousands of rural families of their livelihoods and futures. During the nights of torrential rain, many families in Yunnan are still haunted by the roar of the floodwaters. In just a few minutes, the first floor was submerged and furniture was floating everywhere. China floods is not only a scene of physical destruction, but also a natural disaster that brings inconsolable mental pain to tens of thousands of people. Faced with the dire situation, Yunnan authorities declared a Level 2 alert, the highest level in China's flood control system. The military firefighters and emergency rescuers were mobilized to evacuate residents. Schools and gymnasiums became temporary shelters. China floods shows that when natural disasters strike, prompt government intervention is key to saving lives and reducing losses. Helicopters, rescue boats, and even drones were mobilized to supply food and clean water to the isolated area. More than 1,000 people were evacuated from the danger zone. The Army volunteers and local forces joined forces to clear mud, build temporary bridges, and reinforce riverbanks. China floods shows that in fierce natural disasters, solidarity and tireless rescue efforts are the only ray of hope amid the tragedy. The soil in Yunnan has been severely soaked. Many mountain slopes have become unstable, and the risk of landslides and new flash floods is always lurking. The Water Conservancy Department has issued multiple red alerts, fearing that reservoirs will be overloaded. If the rain continues, the disaster could spread further. The China floods this time is a bitter reminder that natural disasters do not end immediately after the water recedes, but leave behind lingering dangers. The China floods disaster in Yunnan has swept away homes, roads, crops, and the livelihoods of tens of thousands of families. More than 1,000,000 people were evacuated. Thousands of hectares of rice fields and vegetables were destroyed, and many residential areas disappeared after just a few days of heavy rain and flooding. But the greatest pain is not only the material damage, but also the tragic memories engraved in the hearts of the people. This is a painful testament that natural disasters are becoming more intense in the context of climate change. From wiped out towns to devastated fields, the recovery process will take months, even years. Yunnan is in urgent need of sharing empathy and support from the community to overcome this dark period, and for the painful memories to be gradually replaced by hope.